Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to jump right into it. My name is Sam. If this is one of the first videos you ever watch of mine, I hope that you will continue to watch them. I'm sorry that you qualify to be here, but I'm glad that you are here. I'm honored that you are here. If you've been with me a while, you've tolerated me, and I'm so glad that you have come back. There are seasons in recovery where we need to go to the next level. There's just no way around it. There's a point where we feel like I'm kind of stuck. I've got some movement, some momentum, but it's really not enough. And I'm frustrated and I want to go to the next level. And whether it's business, whether it's our relationship, whether it's sports, athletics, whether it's investments, we come to the point where we oftentimes say and think and feel internally, I'm capable of more. I'm capable of achieving more, experiencing more. How do I get there? So today I'm going to give you a few hard-hitting points on how to get to the next level. Now, I will tell you, for years, I've received messages from people on every different platform that thank me for being straightforward, direct, compassionately direct, but yet direct. So I'm going to do that again today. If it backfires, I'm going to need some of you to come to my defense. But seriously, I am going to be very straightforward. There's going to be some hard-hitting stuff today, but it's going to always be compassionate, gracious, and hopefully presented in a way that gives you the opportunity to embrace it. If we're going to go to the new level, there's going to be new devils that we have to conquer. There's going to be new resistance, new strategies that are required. And it's going to require that certain phases and certain practices of ours have to be relinquished. And I love that word because it means we've been holding on to them. We've been using them, employing them. It's time to relinquish them if we're going to go to the next level. And quite honestly, it's about pruning. But not just pruning. Any good gardener knows you're pruning towards a certain outcome. When you prune a rose bush, now, don't expect brilliance from me on this, but even I know when you prune a rose bush, you're pruning it so that it expands and grows and beautifies, and there's more beauty and there's more of an experience for that rose bush. You never know, it's never guaranteed, but that's pruning. We're pruning towards an outcome, and you and your recovery work. Maybe it's time to prune towards an outcome. What's the outcome? The outcome is joy, peace, harmony with your mate, restoration with your mate, maybe restoration for the entire family. Alternatively, it may be more of a personal restoration. You may be pruning so that you can get your life back, your mind back, and your emotions back, and heal and move towards a new level of healing for yourself. The first thing that we have to be willing to relinquish is this learned helplessness. And that kind of means I don't have any other options. There's nothing I can do about it, so I'm kind of going to lay down and die. It's adapting to a misery and a despair as if we have no opportunity to change. And that might be for some of you that are early on in recovery work. That might be for some of you who are much later on in recovery work, and maybe you're not dealing with infidelity, you're dealing with a marital issue or a relational issue that you just don't feel like it's going to change. So you've learned this helplessness and said, it's never going to change. So I'll just accept and adapt to the misery that comes with that. And we have to let go of that. We have to relinquish that if we're going to see change. That is not the best for you and your relationship. But if we want to go to the next level, if we want to grow, if we want to prune towards an outcome, and that outcome can be gorgeous, we absolutely have to let go of that learned helplessness. Next is a fixation on what we cannot do. And I understand. We all have limits. We don't typically have blank checks and credit cards that we can swipe for any kind of recovery work, but we make the mistake of fixating on what we can't do instead of what we can do. And I would invite you as an exercise to get a piece of paper eventually and write down things that you can't control. Left-hand side. Hammer it out, write it down, put it on paper. And then take a deep breath, reset, and then say, well, what can I do? What are the things I can do? You know, I love the concept of powerlessness. In AA and 12-step work, man, we understood that we were powerless over others and powerless over so many things in our life. But I don't think that we are powerless to take action, to heal ourselves, to change ourselves, to do our own work. If that's the case, why even try to do any work? Because we can't do it at all. And that's not the goal. The goal is to say, hey, the more that my own willpower is utilized, the more I fail. I need outside help. I need assistance. I can't do it on my own. What can you do? What choices can you make? Where can you empower yourself to change, to heal, to grow? Next, and I have talked about this frequently, but I'm going to keep driving it home because I've had to embrace it. I never give you stuff that I've never had to embrace myself. Let me tell you, if I'm giving it to you, I've had to use it. I'm struggling with it. I'm working with it. I'm wrestling with it. And you need this because I know that I need this. And the reality is we can no longer be married to the victim mentality, because the victim mentality chains us to those that have wounded us and hurt us. It anchors us to our past. It anchors us to those who have wounded us. It justifies our negative action. It justifies the narrative that we have created that we are a victim and will always be a victim and remain a victim, and that we have no power to choose, no power to change, no power to heal, no power to empower ourselves. Remaining married to the victim mentality creates a slavery mindset that we are a slave to our circumstances. And we really just don't have to be. I'm not preaching to you this, get up, let's go, deny reality. Man, I get it. I talk to people in terrible situations with so many limitations. And I love the people that say, yeah, Sam, it's awful. But here's what I am doing. I'm doing whatever I can to dig out of this hole. Next is relinquishing the idea that hope alone is a strategy. Now, don't get me wrong. I come from faith. I love hope. Hope has carried me through some incredibly difficult, gut-wrenching times in my life. I'm not talking about hope in general. I'm talking about a false hope that says, my desire is sufficient enough for me to keep hoping that the situation is going to change, despite countless examples that are in front of me that this situation or this person is not going to change. When our desire is the only real reason that we think things are going to change, and there is no outside influence, there are no other factors involved, we set ourselves up for disappointment. We set ourselves up for failure. We set ourselves up for more heartbreak because our own desire is the only vehicle within that hope. And quite honestly, we probably are not in touch with reality because that person, that circumstance keeps repeating itself. And we're living in denial. And we're hoping, we're maybe even praying that it would change. But the best predictor of future behavior by that person or that circumstance or that situation is past behavior. And when we're staring past behavior in the face and we put our head in the sand and deny it, we set ourselves up for absolute disappointment. There comes a point we have to ask ourselves a very tough question. It looks like this. Other than my desire for this situation to change or this person to change, what other proof do I have that things are going to be better tomorrow? There has to be other objective factors that are involved in the mix for us to have a hope that carries us, that moves us, that it's like there's a sense of strength underneath us. There's wings to our days. Here are 9 objective factors. Now, these aren't necessarily, it's funny, I got this from a book it's not an infidelity book, but you'll be amazed at the parallels. Number 1, verifiable involvement in a proven change process. Number 2, additional structure. Number 3, monitoring systems. Number 4, New experiences and skills being brought into the equation. Next is self-sustaining motivation. Next is admission of need. The presence of support. Skilled help. And some prior or even current success. We don't have time today to go through all those 9 factors, but rewind a little bit. Go back and listen to them. Think about, where are those, how many of those are actively involved in your situation? And it will be a telltale sign of whether or not tomorrow's going to be different. The last one is very controversial, but very helpful if you can hear it in the right spirit, grab hold of it, and see if it's operating in your situation. And that is the concept of pain shopping. It looks like this. Things are going well. There's movement, there's momentum. We're getting close. We are experiencing intimacy. We are experiencing vulnerability. You know what? It's too much. I'm uncomfortable. It's time to self-sabotage. It doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to act out, but it can mean I start to make some decisions that shop for pain in my life, even because of subconscious things that I'm unaware of. I can't get too happy. I can't get too comfortable. I can't get too close to my spouse or partner, because when I do, now I'm going to pain shop. What does it mean? It means you start to go, you know what? I'm going to lash out at the affair partner and tell them what they did to my relationship. Why? Maybe it's time to let that go, break free from the victim mentality, and not continually be anchored to them. Maybe it's a time for you to break free and say, no, I don't need to shop for pain. We have momentum. We have safety. We have so many things to be grateful for. It's causing me to be uncomfortable. I'm scared. So you know what? Let's risk and let's go deeper. Let's go further. Let's lean in. Let's not sabotage. One author said this, is that when we don't understand pain shopping, we can allow ourselves to bask in the pain of infidelity rather than going forward, rather than being vulnerable. Now there's a caveat here, and I can hear it, where you say, hold on, Sam, so I can't have a bad day? No. What? So Sam, I'm supposed to just suck it up and I'm supposed to just keep going and not have difficult moments or make mistakes? No. I can hear the rebuttal that says, wait a minute, Sam, are you saying to me, a betrayed spouse, that I can't have a bad day, that I can't struggle, that I can't have reminders and triggers, that I can't be angry? Absolutely not. But in a situation where there is positive momentum, your unfaithful spouse or partner is being safe and doing a lot of good things, and there's this new momentum, it can be very tempting to sabotage it. And we don't even understand why. It can be very tempting to allow ourselves to be so uncomfortable that we lash out and we don't risk. We kind of deflate everything. We can deflect because we're afraid to be vulnerable and be intimate again. Because we're like, oh my gosh, wait a minute, I'm scared to death. So instead of maybe going to that next level of intimacy, we pain shop and we look for ways that we can create chaos, and we look for ways that we can create drama rather than getting help, settling in, being vulnerable, opening ourselves up to getting the help that we need to self-soothe and not sabotage. My friends, it's hard. I'll never tell you repair work isn't hard. Repair work for ourselves, repair work for our relationships. It's hard as hell. Thank you for hanging with me today. I hope that you can go to the next level. I hope that you can find a new level of momentum and clarity and healing today.